This video is all about multiplying polynomials. In question 1, we have 2 times x minus 6 times x squared minus 3x plus 5. Our first step is going to be to rainbow this 2, or expand by distributing this 2 into the brackets here. So 2 times x first gives us 2x, and 2 times negative 6 gives negative 12. That's going to make it a bit easier to do the next step, or at the very least, it's an efficient way to solve this question, if not easier. Our next step is going to be to multiply everything in this first bracket by everything in the second bracket. So we begin by taking 2x and timesing it by the first term, x squared. 2x times x squared gives 2x cubed. Then we're going to multiply 2x times negative 3x. 2x times negative 3x, negative 6x squared. And then finally 2x times the last term, 5, we get plus 10x. Now we're going to take the second term, negative 12, and multiply it by everything in the second bracket. So negative 12 times x squared, negative 12x squared. Now negative 12 times negative 3x, positive 36x. And now negative 12 times 5, negative 60. So what have we done so far? We rainbowed this 2 into the first brackets, combined it, and then we multiplied each term in the first bracket times the second bracket. You're just not quite done yet. Our last step is to combine like terms. Looking at our equation, looking for like terms, they have to have the same variable and the same exponent on those variables. We only have one x cubed, and by that I mean one x cubed term, which is 2x cubed, so we just put it out in front. We have two things that are x squareds, minus 6x squared and minus 12x squared, which makes negative 18x squared when combined. We have two x terms, a 10x and a 30x. 10 plus 36 is 46x. And then finally, we have just the minus 60, and that stays there. So we combined our like terms, and now we have our final answer, 2x cubed minus 18x squared plus 46x minus 60. The second polynomial pair we have here is going to be a bit longer because it's a trinomial times a trinomial. There are going to be 9 resulting terms. I'm going to multiply the first term times the 3 things in the second brackets, the second term times the 3 things in the second brackets, and the third term times each thing in the second brackets. So let's get started. 4x squared times each of these first 3 things. 4x squared times negative 5x, negative 20x cubed. 4x squared times 2x squared, that's 8x to the power 4. If you're wondering how I got that, 4 times 2 is 8. X squared times x squared, add the exponents. What's 2 plus 2? 4. So I get 8x4. Finally, 4x squared times negative 1 is negative 4x squared. First one done. Second one, negative 3x times negative 5x times 2x squared and times negative 1. So negative 3x times negative 5x is plus 15x squared. Negative 3x times 2x squared is minus 6x cubed. And negative 3x times negative 1 is plus 3x. But we still have this 9 to do. I'm running out of space to do the arrows, so I'm not going to show this last one. I'm just going to do it in my head and by pointing. 9 times negative 5x. That's negative 45x. 9 times 2x squared is 18x squared. And 9 times negative 1 is negative 9. It's a lot of terms. But now we're going to start to simplify. We have a whole bunch of terms, but only some of them are like terms. First of all, we know the biggest exponent was 4, and that was this one, the 8x4. There are no other x to the power 4s. In other words, there are no like terms. 8x to the power 4 just gets to sit out front. But we did have some things that were cubes. This thing here and this thing here were both x cubed, minus 20x cubed, and minus 6x cubed put together is negative 26x cubed. Now we're looking for things that are squareds. And there are a few of them. Negative 4x squared, 15x squared, and 18x squared. So let's put them all together. Minus 4 plus 15 is plus 11, and plus 11 plus 18 is plus 29. We just add up all the x squareds, we get 29x squareds. Looking for the things that are x's, those are the 3x here and the negative 45x, just two of them. Plus 3 minus 45 gives negative 42x. And finally, minus 9, it's the last one. There's no like terms, no other numbers. We just have minus 9. So our answer is x to the power 4 minus 23x cubed plus 29x squared minus 42x minus 9. None of these can be combined because they're not like terms. Each of them has a different exponent, or just an x, or no x at all. They'd have to have the same variables with the same exponents to be combined. And one final thing, notice that the first brackets was in order, but the second brackets, the terms were out of order. You could have rearranged this bracket to read 2x squared, then the minus 5x, then the minus 1, if that makes it easier. I just wanted to demonstrate that no matter what, you can rainbow two brackets, even two trinomials, just by taking each term and multiplying it by each term in the second brackets.